We go in. No, it's starting to get into the evening of the next day. Haven't heard from him at all.
No. And now we're getting really scared. Call his parents. I call his
parents,
dad.
let him know we don't know where your son is. We don't know what's going on. Like, getting very scary. We all, as a group, walked around that city in every area of the French Quarter.
We called every hospital in the area.
Every hospital.
Every jail.
Finally, we went to the police at this point because we're thinking the worst.
All right, everybody, welcome to another great episode of Cases Gone Wild with me, your host, Jon Marko, brought to you by Marko Law. We bring you the craziest, wildest, most insane legal stories that you couldn't even dream up, and today's show is going to be no different. We have a very special guest, my friend and great attorney, Steve Mamat. Steve, thanks for coming on the show. Good to see you, buddy. Always good to see you. Watch us on our new and improved YouTube channel, or go to markolaw.com and listen and share the podcast with all your friends. Steve, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Been a little while.
Yeah.
Been a little while. We've known each other since, dude, long time.
We met on a deposition. Remember this? You don't remember this? We went on I show up for a deposition, covering a deposition, and the deposition gets canceled. We don't even do it. And basically, I was like, you ought to go grab a sandwich. And after that,
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah, what deposition was it?
I think it was, though, a case with somebody there was a house party. And they drove the car.
The car went into the river in the middle of the night. That was a big case. Yeah, that's crazy.
You were on the other side. We were representing the homeowners.
And I was representing the family. That's right. Yeah, that's when you were over at Todd Flood's office.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Steve, your background, you went to Indiana University for undergrad, right?
I went to Indiana University. I originally went there for music. They have a really good music program. Been in music my whole life. Singing, guitar, bass, piano. You've been to some of my shows.
Wayne State for law school. Your dad's a prominent attorney, well-known attorney in the Detroit area. He does labor law.
Labor, employer side labor law. Deals with the NLRB, employment related issues, companies being sued for sexual harassment stuff that you
had some of that. Yeah, I had your dad on a case once. We sued this like creepy restaurant.
I think I knew it. Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Like grabbing all these girls' breasts and butts and making them dress up skimpy. It was like a Hooters, but like a one-off Hooters. You know, like
it was like Twin Peaks or what?
It was something. It was that, but it was like a single location restaurant.
Okay.
And a lot of creepy, weird stuff was going on. But tell me a little bit about this music background, because didn't you go to school for music, and didn't you want to be music? You went to LA and stuff, didn't you?
After, I had a lot of friends that have done really well in the music industry. Something about Detroit, obviously, people know Eminem, but something about this area breeds big entertainers. I have friends that work, like I said, I was telling you before, they work with the drummer who was in my high school band, who I've known my whole life. He managed Billie Eilish for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And the bassist in that band also produced 30 Seconds to Mars, one of his albums, one of Jared Leto's albums. So this area, for whatever reason, in my opinion, I don't know, it's something with the chip on their shoulder. People go out, they want to do music, they want to do entertainment. After law school, I kind of wanted to do that. I went out to LA because I wasn't sure that I went into law because I felt like, okay, I could somewhat entertain. You could be in a courtroom, and you kind of get that rush. There is definitely an adrenaline rush. A lot of people don't like to be on stage. They don't like to entertain. and being on stage in terms of whether you're in theater or music, you kind of get that rush.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a trial, you're the star of the show, right? I mean,
exactly. I mean, you're selling your client's case to a jury for sure, but there is that showmanship. There's that trying to get that emotional edge. Basically, you're not entertaining, but you're trying to connect with an audience, or a jury.
And I think there's an element of entertaining. Look, some cases are very serious, but in every trial that I've ever done, I try to have some entertaining moments, even in the most serious. You watch a movie, you watch like even a sad drama or whatever. Often great movies will still have moments, even with difficult subject matter, of levity or entertaining. Because you can't have people crying the whole movie, right? There has to be some levity at some point. So in my trials, I always try to have little moments of entertainment. I mean, even you look at like the O.J. Simpson trial, remember, like the glove does not fit, you must acquit. And remember that? I mean, that was a very serious murder case, and there was like moments of levity. Or the Johnny Depp trial,
Yeah, people like a relief from sometimes, especially if you're doing a personal injury case, right? That subject matter, or a criminal case, it's heavy. It's people don't want to be there. None of these jurors ever want to be at the court. Everyone, I got jury duty, I got to show up.
Yeah.
So the jury's going to remember, just like if you go to any kind of show, you're going to remember the fun moments of that show, and so. If you're performing, you want to connect in that regard. You want. So you
went out to LA, and like, what was that like? I mean,
so I went out to LA, was doing stand-up comedy for a little bit.
Stop. With your law degree.
Stand-up comedy. Well, I started doing stand-up here, and then I went out and was doing that, and was doing music, and was working at an entertainment law firm in Beverly Hills.
So tell us a joke.
That's the issue with stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy has got to be the hardest thing on the planet, because everybody wants to be funny. That moment when you get everyone around you laughing at a joke, not a better feeling, right? But for stand-up comics, they got to go, I'm going to be funny right now. And a lot of them, so we used to hang out at the Comedy Store, which is like wherever, all the big comedians go and practice the material, and you would see big comedians bomb.
Really?
Practicing. Yeah, because it's very hard to say, I'm going to be funny right now.
Yeah.
There's something, like I said, even in a jury, there's something that's got to be a natural element. It's the vibe of the room. It's the vibe, and
you got to feel it.
Oh, I would see massive comedians that you would see on Netflix specials go and try and practice a new bit, and you'd hear the air conditioner in the and it would be, some big names.
Yeah.
So for you to be like, be funny right now, it's just, a lot of it's just being yourself.
Yeah.
And just, it's hard.
So you're doing this. You're doing music in LA. Did you ever think you were going to come home?
No, I didn't. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. It's like, do I want to be working at an entertainment law firm? A lot of it's just like documents, transactions.
So an entertainment law firm, tell our listeners who aren't familiar with the law, this is like Jerry Maguire stuff, like show me the money.
Well, kind of. I mean, Jerry Maguire is a sports agent. I got a buddy who's a sports agent. It's similar. You're looking at contracts, kind of. People think, entertainment law, but like a lot of it's kind of not that exciting, because
it's boring.
It's just like copyright stuff, trademark stuff, contract stuff, labor issues.
Were you getting to meet like superstars, Hollywood stars?
Yeah, you would. Obviously, if you're in LA, you're just going to run into famous people.
What about part of your work? Were you getting to like represent like actors and go to parties and?
Yeah, you would. But a lot of times it was the stuff behind the scenes that nobody really cares about, right? It's like nobody cares about the contracts.
Yeah.
It's like, and so that, as much as people want to do it, it literally wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It's like, if I want to be an entertainer, I want to be the guy. I want to be the entertainer.
Yeah. So it's not as exciting as like you see on TV, and like, what was that Entourage? Remember Entourage with their agent?
Right. The agent. Yeah.
Ari or
Ari Gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would go out to LA. Everybody wants to be the agent. So they want to go out and be in CAA or, any one of these William Morris. I believe that was based off William Morris agencies. So a lot of times the people will come out after college, after seeing a show like Entourage, and they gotta, eat shit for a while, work in the mail room. Basically, they work in the mail room forever. Hopefully, they can move up and be a big agent. And once you got to start getting these big stars and stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of there's people that do have legal backgrounds working at the agencies, but again, that didn't scratch my itch. I wanted to be that entertainment, like I said, is being.
So what did you do?
I came back. I had clerked at for a very prominent lawyer that you know, Todd Flood.
Yeah, Todd Flood's been on the show. Great guy.
So he and in law school I clerked for them, and I came back. I said, all right, at least with Todd, there, if you're a criminal defense lawyer, you're going to be in court a lot. It gets you that. It constantly scratches that itch. It gets you in court. Even in civil court, it's sometimes hard to get a trial.
It is.
It's you got to go
we got to fight.
The conditions have to be right for a trial.
Yeah.
And
we get bumped for criminal cases because criminal cases, like I have a case I'm supposed to be in trial in 2 weeks in federal court. Got a call. Oh, sorry. We got another criminal case that's got to go. So, you just do the best that you can.
Right. It's hard. I mean, a lot of civil cases settle. They just do. It's the plaintiff sees the money. They're going to want to take the money. A lot of,
we try, I try more cases, civil cases than any other
lawyer
in Michigan, but you're right. It's hard to get into that courtroom and I got to fight for it. I got to prep the clients too. I said, look, this is what's going to happen. They're going to try to buy you off with some cheap justice, and it's ultimately up to you, but I'm going to fight for you, and let's go. Let's go.
Right. So criminal, on the other hand, it's easier. Like a lot of people coming out of law school, they want to go be at a prosecutor's office because they're just going to get lots of trials. It's guaranteed. It's baked into your job. They might not get a lot of money, but they're going to get a lot of
trials. And you were Todd Flood's office at the time, because Todd's a former prosecutor. You were probably getting a lot of courtroom experience.
I was going into courts. There was like 10 former prosecutors there that all worked with Todd.
Great. Like John Dakmack was over there.
Dakmack, Paul Stablin.
Yeah.
Todd Langtot.
Very famous people.
Oh, yeah. So you would get people with all this great criminal defense knowledge and prosecution knowledge. You'd be in courtrooms, learned a ton there.
And that's how we met. So you came to the dep. I forgot about that. And then we just went out and shot.
So you want to go to Jimmy John's. I don't know why I picked that place. It was next to your office, I think.
Yeah.
It was next to your office. And but at that time they were starting to do some civil stuff.
Yeah.
And you were pretty much only doing civil.
Almost all exclusively civil.
So I had some experience. Was also building I had no interest in real estate law, but started building a book of business in real estate law. I don't know how. Basically, my first year, I somehow was hustling and built up a stable book of business in real estate law, litigation. Nobody at the firm had been doing it.
And so you had a diverse practice area. But so let's tell. So we normally talk about cases gone wild. Let's talk about a vacation gone wild because it does have some legal undertones.
Sure.
So we're going to mix it up a little bit. So I think early on, we met. I'm like, this guy's a cool dude. We started hanging out, and then we were going to New Orleans on a trip.
Well, no. So we and you meet at this bar. I'm going through a terrible breakup at the time, and then you're like, dude, me and my buddies are going to New Orleans. Just come down to New Orleans. Mind you, I didn't even know you that well. That we'd been out a few times, and I was like, all right, I don't know any of his friends. Whatever. Yeah. I want to go to New Orleans, and I'm like depressed.
12 guys.
Yeah, so I get down there.
So we rented out this huge loft where all the guys were in this old loft, right? Which was
Airbnb. It was like an
Airbnb loft, but you had it
with two beds. It had two beds. People were sleeping on the floor.
Yeah. We did what we could with the money we had back then, but we had 12 people. We all flew in and we rented this place out. And to get into the loft, you had to go through like a shop. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to find. Like it wasn't like
right in the French Quarter.
Yeah, but it wasn't like hotel so and so, and it was easily labeled. Right? It was like you had to use a key, and we only had like 1 or 2 keys for all 10 of us.
That's right. You'd have to call somebody. You could get stuck, and you'd have to call somebody to come let you in.
Yeah.
So, mind you, we were all absolutely hammered every day there.
Yeah.
It was, partying, and I had never been to New Orleans.
New Orleans is a party town. It's a party town.
It's a party town,
and it was a guy's trip.
And
we were young.
It was basically my first year of practicing law.
Yeah. And so one of my best friends, so do you remember? So we go out, and there's a legal thing. We're not just reminiscing, but there's a legal ending to this story.
Oh yeah. Well, you prepped me. You go, my buddy, he's coming in town. He gets real drunk. And I'm like, how drunk can you actually get? And so he's like a day late. We've already been there partying, whatever.
Yeah.
He shows up, meets us out in the French Quarter. Now, if you're on Bourbon Street, you can just go from bar to bar. It's it's open.
It's open. You carry your drinks around with you, and almost anything goes. You have to literally almost murder somebody to get kicked out of a bar down there. At least at the time, it was anything.
Exactly. I had heard stories that it could be kind of dangerous down there. We didn't know. That was your first time, right? Had you been to New Orleans?
I think that was my first or second time.
Yeah, I think it was most of our first time down there.
Yeah.
So anyways, everyone's warning me, oh, this guy gets super hammered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And no one will shut up about how hammered he gets.
And he still does. He's a great guy. Great human being.
Likes to drink.
But he likes to drink.
So he gets in. I meet him. Totally normal. I kid you not, within an hour of meeting this guy, we're zombie drunk. Literally actual zombie. I was like, what is going on? And so I'm like, this guy's so hammered. Whatever.
He's never going to make it out because we haven't even gone out yet. I don't think
it's 8. We have the whole night. This guy's just absolutely blasted. And so whatever, we see him. He's totally drunk. We're going from bar to bar.
Well, I don't know if you remember the first bar we went to. We got pizza, which was right by our place, and he was so drunk he threw up right in the bar, right on the floor.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah.
And in the middle of the bar. Now look, if that happens here, you're getting kicked out of the bar. Not only is the whole party is getting kicked out of the bar.
Oh yeah.
They just brought a mop out. The lady said, I ain't cleaning that up, and handed the mop to me. I turned to Matt or to somebody and said, you got to clean this up.
Oh my God.
Remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'd never seen anything like that. He was absolutely gone. Anyways, we all go out, we party, we do our own thing.
With a group of that big, you kind of go your separate ways at some point.
Yeah, three or four people will go here, whatever. We all get back. And mind you, he had not been there. He didn't understand the keys and everything you were talking about.
Yeah, it was complicated. You had to find the storefront. Only 2 people had keys. Then you had to go through the store and then get up into this big loft thing.
Right. And so we wake up next morning.
Body check.
Most of us are still hungover, and people sleeping on the floor, whatever. I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours, and we're like, where is this guy?
Where is this guy? Did he get brunch? Did he wake up and get brunch?
Yeah. So we're like, this is just unusual. And so people start calling his phone. It's going straight to voicemail.
And the time keeps ticking by.
Yeah, we're like, we get up, it's noon at this point. We're like, this is getting weird, right?
So, and then we try to put together, who saw him last? Where was he with? Because this turned into a missing person legal story.
Yeah. So by 3 or 4 in the afternoon, we're like, this is getting really weird because we knew he was absolutely hammered.
But we figured he would have woken up and been home by 10 o'clock, and we would laugh it off and talk about it. But we start putting together, and the last person we had, one of my good friends, Jonathan Waterbury, was like one of the last people to see him. So we know we were able to limit it down to a certain area outside of a bar at a certain point, but then he just went missing.
Yeah, no one really knew or could remember. I remember last seeing him in a bar, barely being able to stand up. But by 3 or 4 in the afternoon,
we started getting scared.
We were getting scared. Like this,
because remember, there's a river that goes by New Orleans too.
There's a river, and some of these side streets off Bourbon Street are very sketch.
Yeah. High crime rate.
Yes. So we go in. No, it's starting to get into the evening of the next day. Haven't heard from him at all.
No. And now we're getting really scared.
Now we're getting scared.
Call his parents. I
call his parents.
dad.
Let them know we don't know where your son is. We don't know what's going on. Like getting very scary. We all as a group walked around that city in every area of the French Quarter.
Looking for him.
I mean, I know if I've been back to New Orleans, I know every street now by the back of my hand.
We called every hospital in the area.
Every hospital.
Every jail.
Finally, we went to the police at this point because we're thinking the worst. And they said,
so this is the New Orleans Police Department in the French Quarter. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about how the legal process works down there.
Well, they say we won't.
They laughed at us.
They laughed. They're saying, "Oh, this is like every other drunk person that comes down here." They didn't even take it seriously. I mean,
they wouldn't even take our names. I don't think.
Wouldn't take our names. Won't even open a report unless he's missing for 24 hours. In fact, they said a lot of people get drunk and literally walk into the river.
Right.
And
die.
They're like, yeah, we have people just walk into the river. Like, so.
And I'm like, well, why are we going to wait 24 hours? And so it gets really scary. We start praying. We got Catholics and Jews like you, and everybody else are praying.
Yeah, it was getting really like, we're like, this is going to be a bad situation. We're going to be on the news.
I know.
It's going to be one of those things. The missing
Netflix special, dude.
And so into the next day, I think we're 36 hours into this thing. And we go back to the police station, and they're like starting to like take it seriously at this point because it's just 36 hours. But then we get a call. I'm not sure if they called Waterbury's.
It was a Facebook chat.
Somebody who is with him. And obviously that was suspicious.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, we're with your friend. He's sleeping on my couch." Okay? And we're like, "What?" And like
it was bizarre.
It was very bizarre. He's sleeping on our couch. Like couldn't have called for 36 hours.
Yeah, and it was a Facebook chat.
36 hours. Oh yeah, he's sleeping on my couch. 2 days later. And finally they call us. They call our
Facebook chat.
Yeah, we get on the phone with your buddy.
Yeah. Or through audio or something.
It's something. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll meet up with you, whatever." He tells us a story that
he shows up.
Yeah, he just shows up. I think he shows up at the police station
with his head
gashed in.
Like his head's gashed in. It looks like he had just been in a 12-ring match with ring fight with Mike Tyson.
So yeah,
he's in the same clothes.
He explains it to us. He goes and gets held up.
Well, first he got kicked out of a bar.
A bar, and then he stumbles on some side street and
is trying to find the loft.
Yeah.
And I think at one point he found the loft, didn't have a key, and then so he just starts wandering around New Orleans,
and somebody holds him up with a gun.
A big gun.
Tells him to go to the ATM. He empties out his ATM, and I guess whoever hit him over the head with the gun, and
it was
out.
bad.
It was bad.
He had I thought he had like a brain swelling, but he had.
I think it was either a concussion or whatever.
Major concussion, and he had a big goose egg on the front of his head.
Oh yeah,
a black eye.
Now, mind you, I think the guy who the guy who let him crash was involved. That's my belief. Okay, I
something
think,
never seemed
it's
right.
Like why would if you find this guy passed out on that, because the guy claims he found him passed out in the street and brought him into his house and nursed him back to health for 2 days.
Yeah, this guy claims that after he was mugged, that he found him like in the gutter of New Orleans.
Yeah,
on the side, passed out, and like took him on his morning jog, took him back to his house and like nursed him back to health.
Yeah, I mean, my belief is he was one of the people that was involved in the mugging, and he either had a crisis of conscience and brought him back. Didn't like, well, maybe I'm gonna get a kidnapping charge. It's like, I think he just at some point was like, I gotta call somebody. But none of it made
But we never really know.
We don't know. We don't know the guy.
Sense.
Nothing makes sense. At the end, it was incredibly scary.
It was incredibly scary. One of the scariest moments because it was a great vacation, and then this guy, the missing person, our friend, just continues to party on his vacation, and I'm like,
that's right. I mean, the night of, giant gash on his head, and he's come hell or high water. He's partying. Yeah. And we ended up, listen, it was like for 36 hours, it was the scariest shit that any of us had ever been through. I mean, we thought we were going to be on Dateline.
Yeah.
And the next 3 nights after he came back were absolute blast. One of the best vacations. Some of your
Although
friends,
he was off for the rest of the trip. I mean, I think he had a major concussion.
Yeah.
But he was drinking a beer in the police station as he was saying, hey, they found me. You can close the thing. I just remember that. It was crazy.
It was nuts.
He's nuts. He's a great guy. He's great. But that was a scary thing. But it also gave me little faith in the New Orleans missing persons police department. Like, if something had happened, or what if it was a woman who had been kidnapped or something, they weren't even going to do it. I mean, it was like.
It was, I mean, that's just. We felt very alone.
Helpless.
Yeah, we felt very alone because you're clearly in a city that just, they're not fazed by violence and they're not fazed by crime down there.
Or missing people.
I mean,
like it happens, they're like, he might have walked in the river. He might be dead. Okay.
They're not fazed by, having been down there since. Yeah, you don't want to veer too far off Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
There is definitely some sketchy areas.
Be more careful.
Right.
Every time, and I love New Orleans. I love the food. I love the people. It's a different world, though. And every time I've been to New Orleans, maybe 4 or 5 times now, and every time where there's like a big group, one bad thing happens. So, like, for example, I went with some law school friends. Guy, late night, guy gets pickpocketed by a girl on the dance floor. She, he's been drinking. This beautiful girl comes up to him. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, like, well, what a lucky guy. Well, they dance for a little bit. Then she pushes him away and leaves immediately. Well, she had his wallet.
Oh yeah, of course.
We had that thing happen with us where our friend was mugged. Pretty bad, and there's been some other pickpocketings and stuff, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, no, it's definitely you got to keep your wits about you. I mean, you can have a good time, but don't get too drunk though.
Yeah, or staying,
sure.
And it's hard too when you don't have any money. I mean, we were staying off the beaten path and 12 dudes in a loft,
Yeah, we were struggling lawyers.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're glad that our buddy made it back. He was just at my wedding. He's a good dude. So, and he's alive. So that's important.
Good.
Yeah.
Good guy.
So tell us about some of your cases. So you said that you did a DUI case where somebody died. Tell me about this case. This is crazy.
So
it wasn't the same guy that was in New Orleans, was it?
No. So early on in my career, I got this crazy case, young girl, a 19-year-old girl, very nice, calls me. Father calls me. He got charged with, in Michigan they call it OWI, operating while intoxicated.
Like drunk driving, right?
Drunk driving, but most places call it DUI. OWI causing death. Basically,
that's not good.
Not good.
Isn't that like an automatic life sentence or something, or something?
Not
big?
automatic. It's basically what people would consider like negligent homicides, 15 years. So
15 years minimum?
Not minimum, but up to. Okay, because there's not that intentional component.
Yeah. But if you're drunk, like if you're driving, if I leave for work and I accidentally hit somebody and kill them, I'm not going to jail, right? Usually, but if you're drunk and you kill somebody.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I got, there's cases, especially in Oakland County right now, because they're going after it. And this is scary. There is a civil infraction causing in Michigan. A lot of other states, speeding is just a misdemeanor. It is a criminal offense. In Michigan, they have what's called a civil infraction, meaning there's no possible jail time.
Okay.
So if you're just going 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit, you usually pay a fine, you get some points on your record, whatever.
Even if you kill somebody.
Well, no, there is a civil infraction causing death. That's a misdemeanor. Okay, but you could go to jail. But a lot of times what they're doing is they'll call it reckless driving causing death. You could just be, you might be speeding. We all speed sometimes. Mm-hmm. All right. Like it's just, you never know. And what they're doing in some of these counties is they'll charge you with a felony, reckless driving causing death. If this happens.
Where you go to prison. Now, but for that, you have to show that the driver did something wrong, right? They were speeding. They were negligent. But
what's speeding? They could try to make the argument that your speeding alone was reckless, which is, indifference, and
right?
Wanton and wanton indifference toward the livelihood.
Now, my understanding, though, for the DUI causing death or whatever it's called, is there's no fault. So, in other words, like, let's say that I decide to, let's say that our buddy in New Orleans decides to get behind the wheel of a car and he's drunk, but he's driving perfectly straight, perfectly carefully, he's not breaking any laws other than being drunk. And he's driving like, a professional driver, and some kid wants to kill themselves. So they run out in front of his car and dive headfirst into the grill of his car. And he brakes as soon as he sees he doesn't do anything wrong. Isn't there like an automatic, like if you're drunk, we don't care if you did something wrong or not, you're guilty.
Well, you're up against it. You're going to probably get charged with that, right? So that means you got to go out and pay a fortune to some criminal defense attorney and try to convince a jury that, I get it. He wasn't drunk, but is it the cause of this death, right? And so the jury instructions aren't going to be like that, right? There has to be the cause of it, right?
Okay.
You can try to make that argument. The problem is jury's going to see that you were drunk.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I have it in civil cases.
Right.
I have like really good civil cases sometimes, like airbag doesn't go off. These are common cases, but the person's drunk and they're like totally fucked up or they die. It's very few that we can take that case, even if the person's, because it's like the person was drunk,
Right. It colors the case. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to convince it, because people, especially Mothers Against Drunk Driving and just the culture of kind of shunning drunk drivers. Back in the 70s, people used to drive drunk like it was nothing.
Yeah.
You get a ticket. If you got
my uncle told me stories the cops would drive him home.
It just was not a culture of shunning people for driving drunk, and listen, people do it. I'm not defending it in terms, I have clients that we defend, of course, but I'm not saying you should do it.
Right.
I'm just saying we have a very, it's
strict.
It's just people don't like it. And so at the end of the day, like, you can try to argue causation. Yes, he was drunk. Was that the cause of
And that's a hard sell. So
it's a hard sell.
Tell me about this case that you did. This case gone wild.
So I get this case, young girl, small town, northern Michigan. Her and her boyfriend get into some argument. Like, we're talking a rural town, and those farm roads, like you see cornfields and all that stuff. They get into some argument. And I guess he breaks up with her. She's crying, right? Freaking out. He's drunk. Okay. They both leave this house they're at. All emotional. She goes down one road. He goes down another road. And they're going, he drives this way. She drives this way. He makes a left turn, she makes a right turn, and they're converging on this intersection.
Oh my God! Against each other?
Against each other.
Do they know that the other person's there?
No.
Just randomly.
Randomly. This is like 5 minutes after this thing. He runs the stop sign, and she hits him, T-bones him. He's drunk. He dies.
Oh my God!
She's got major injuries. She goes to the hospital, and they do some kind of urine test, and she tests positive for marijuana, THC. Mind you, he ran the stop sign. All that accident reconstruction shows that he ran the stop sign, right? It's clear his fault. She tests positive for THC. All over the news up there. This whole thing, it's a big deal in a small town. Months later, they charge her. OWI causing death. Her boyfriend.
Based on the THC?
Based on the THC from a urine test in a hospital.
There was no alcohol test?
No alcohol.
Wow.
She swears up and down, I wasn't drinking. Now, mind you.
But this THC, can it stay in your system?
Well, that's a cutting edge issue. In DUI practice, a lot of they're trying to pass stuff where they can swab you now and say, well, there's marijuana in your system. Did that impair you in some capacity? So the test comes back. The urine test. But that's not an admissible test for this in Michigan. So when you're pulled over, like for alcohol, right, and you do a blood draw, they got to do a gas chromatography test where they pull the blood. It's got to be sent to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab and done. That's considered admissible. Or they do what's called an intoxilizer now, where they take you back to the station. They used to have a data master test. That's the blow. Now they have a
data master's the blow that we see on TV on the side of the road.
No, that's the PBT.
That's a PBT.
So, and here's the thing with the PBT: you don't have to give the PBT. PBT isn't necessarily admissible.
But they'll take your license.
No. So here's the thing. We get this call all the time. If you get pulled over on the side of the road and they suspect you of drinking in some capacity, they can ask you to do a field sobriety test. You actually don't have to do it. In fact, the cases that I get where people refuse it are the better cases for me as a lawyer.
Can they arrest you if you don't do it?
Well, that's what happened. They have to establish probable cause to seize your person. Okay. I had a case up in Tuscola County. You mentioned you got a case up in Tuscola County, and a guy he's been in trouble with the law. He hit somebody in that case. They pull him over. They asked him to do a PBT. He refuses. They ask him to do field sobriety tests. He refuses. They smell marijuana in the car, but it wasn't smoked. It was his fresh marijuana. And they say, all right, you're not complying. We're arresting you. So I say, okay, you have no probable cause to arrest. You have no indicia that he was intoxicated by the field sobriety test. You know indicia of intoxication, nothing in the police report. They had to dismiss the case.
Wow.
But
what happened with this girl?
The other one, so they do this urine test. THC. That doesn't tell you her level of intoxication. It just says yes or no.
That's it? It just says positive or negative?
Well, furthermore, it says this test cannot be used in any legal proceeding right on the bottom. And so this poor girl who lost her, boyfriend, whatever, they had to go out and retain a lawyer to go, and they wanted some blood. They ultimately had to dismiss the case because there was nothing.
Did they dismiss the case?
They did. Yes.
And how'd you get it dismissed?
We're obviously going to go to trial with this if you're not going to dismiss. I mean, you can't. This is not an admissible test, and especially even if they had gotten an admissible test with THC, the problem is at the time the jury instructions, because of the consumption, was your ability to drive a motor vehicle impaired, and that's the problem with the THC. It's like you can smoke a joint and it could be in your system for 20, 30 days.
Right.
When is it for that individualized person? Did it cause their ability to drive a motor vehicle? Was it impaired? And there's just really no. It's so gray.
Is there any test that can tell you if there's like enough marijuana in your body to impair you? Like, we have alcohol tests, right? We all know the legal limit, 0.08, right?
But again, that's arbitrary. I mean, there's people that want to bring that down to like 0.06, 0.05.
Or our buddy in New Orleans, he can have like a 0.20 and be walking around.
That's right. Well, we deal with a lot of alcoholics in my practice, a lot. And so the problem, and we have people that, get 2, 3, 4 DUIs, and it's like the people that have the higher tolerance, they could be at 0.2, and you would literally never know it. You would have they're going to stink like alcohol.
Yeah.
But in terms of their motor skills and their ability and their cognitive function.
So, I did a huge case against Data Master, which was the company that was selling to the Michigan State Police and these municipalities these breathalyzer machines that you use at the station.
All right.
And because obviously the level of your intoxication is very important for these cases, right? If you're under a 0.08, are you per se not drunk driving, or how does that work?
So there's three in Michigan. There's 3 different levels of OWIs that you can get. There's a super drunk, which is over 0.17. Okay. There's a regular OWI, which is the 0.08.
Can you get that WI if you're under 0.08?
Yes. You can't get that one. You can get what's operating while visibly impaired.
Okay.
So this is the thing. Like, you could get a DUI, have a criminal offense on your record.
One beer. Really?
Yes. If they argue that because of the consumption of alcohol, your ability to drive was impaired. You don't necessarily have to have the 0.08. Of course, it makes it easier for the prosecution if you have that bright line 0.08, but you don't have to have it. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, oh, I'm not going to be a 0.08. They go have a couple drinks at a restaurant. I'm not going to be arrested for. I don't even take that risk because I see enough of these cases. It's like, I don't want to be pulled over. I just,
you don't want to have to deal with it. Well, it's easier now than it was when we were kids. At least when I was a kid, we have Uber and stuff like that now.
You would think, but these people, like, it's so expensive. I mean, there are courts in this area, 48th District Court, for instance, first offense, you can be looking at jail time if you get convicted.
Wow.
And so you could be the most.
That's crazy. So I did this Data Master case.
Right.
And I don't know if you heard about this, but this Data Master company sold all these machines to the state of Michigan. Right. And part of these machines have to be calibrated properly, because if they're not, the reading will be off. So, for example, if somebody might have 1 or 2 beers, but the machine's not right, it'll give a false reading and say you're like above a 0.08, right? So these people are required to make sure that these machines are properly calibrated. There's a whole process. It's very complicated. They weren't doing it. And these people, I had a guy who had like 2 beers and it like showed that he was like super drunk. And people were going to jail, dude.
Oh yeah.
And for DUIs when they hadn't drank at all, or maybe only drank a little bit, because these machines were just going haywire. And eventually, the state police was telling this company, you guys got to do something about this, that we're seeing a problem here. I don't know exactly how they found out, but a lot of people's convictions had to be undone. You don't know the true extent ever, right? Because there might be innocent people out there.
Yeah, I mean,
did you hear about that?
Yes. So there was for a period of time, there were a lot of cases where the person who does the calibration, they were kind of half-assing it, going in there fiddling with the numbers. These machines are supposed to be calibrated.
Right.
And actually, that's the thought with this. That was Data Master. Now they have what's called the intoxilizer machine.
Yeah.
And there's different issues now with that.
Maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't toximeters.
No, yours was Data Master.
Okay.
The intoxilizer is fairly new.
Okay, is it good?
It's good, but there's new issues that we have to deal with.
I mean, blood's the best, right?
Blood is considered the best, but that could even be screwed up. Actually, the reason I went to New Orleans recently is because I go down to a DUI scientific DUI clinic.
Oh, wow.
And so it's usually held March in New Orleans. And there's different ways, even with blood tests. There are so what people don't understand is actually if they take a blood vial, they actually are supposed to put anticoagulant in it because the sugar in the blood
can ferment
and turn into
alcohol.
So you would think, they got to put the little gray top on it. Then there's a chain of evidence questions that come into play. But if they don't put in, like I said, enough anticoagulant, you can literally
the blood can ferment itself.
It can ferment.
That's freaking crazy. I didn't know that. There's all kind of other stuff too. Mm-hmm. I understand with the breath, like if you eat certain mints that have alcohol in them before, if you had one beer, the cop's coming up, you're like, oh, I better put a mint in. And then he breathalyzes. You can't mints cause it to go higher and stuff, or coins or something.
So a big part of my practice is license restoration. So we have a lot of people that have multiple DUIs that have obviously turned their life around. They got sober, whatever. They have interlocks put in their car, and so people don't understand that like an inhaler has alcohol in it. And they could say if you have asthma, it could set that off. That could if you're stopped on the side of the road, you've been using an inhaler, NyQuil, obviously. A lot of these
this stuff can do it. It's crazy.
Food can disturb it, and the problem is, a lot of people don't challenge this stuff. You go to court, and it's hard to get a trial, right? The conditions have to be right to get a trial, whether it's for criminal or civil. Everything's got to be right to get a trial. All right. Like people want to have to, the person who agrees to go to trial usually has to take some level of risk. Like, in a criminal case, maybe they're offering absolutely no deal. Like, then it's like, what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. I mean, some of your civil cases, they're offering terrible deals.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, like literally.
And then it's like, hey, we're going to hit you. We're going to go.
But you and I know that it's like the conditions have to be right. I mean, your client has to want to take some level of risk.
Yeah.
I mean, they might get thrown an offer for a ton of money.
It's all risk reward.
And then say, well, listen, I'm going to turn down this offer. Maybe I completely lose and I've now turned this down, or I get a really favorable outcome. And so it's hard to do trials.
Yeah, it really is.
And same with criminal. It's like, people could take a deal where it's like, for sure, they're not going to jail, whatever. And listen, a judge isn't supposed to punish you for going to trial and send you to jail. But there's kind of an understood thing of what's called a trial tax. You went in, you took your shot, and if you lose,
you're going to get punished.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny that you talk about the interlock, because going back to our New Orleans thing. So our buddy who got abused and brutalized down there at one point had to get an interlock on his vehicle, and he said and
Maybe that's a good thing.
And it was this kind where I don't know if they have these in Michigan, but you have to keep blowing in it even while you're driving, like every 15 minutes.
It's called a rolling retest. We deal with that issue all the time.
Which I don't fucking understand, because isn't that dangerous? You're driving down the road and then you have to blow into this thing.
I don't get it either, but maybe there's this thought that, oh, I started the car, and then you're going to start drinking while you're. I maybe
mean, that's crazy.
Maybe
to me,
that. Well, nothing with these alcoholics is crazy.
So
I don't put it past anything.
All right, so,
I've seen it all with these alcoholics.
So this dude's a lawyer, right? So he goes, he has to go pick up a client at the airport. So he has this interlock device on his car.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have another car. He has to drive this car and he has to blow in the thing. So he goes to the airport. He picks up his client. He brings him into the car. And then he's like, hold on 1 second. Car starts up. And then every 15 minutes, he's like, hold on 1 second. You know, they're talking about the case. Hold on 1 second. And this client's like, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
Yeah, no, it's you don't ever want to get into a position like that. Actually, I have another crazy story about with the interlock. This woman calls us. She has the interlock, right? She's on an interlock, and she gets violated for it.
Because she didn't blow in it, or what? I thought the car would not start unless you blow in it.
She didn't blow in it. Her daughter blew in it.
Okay.
Borrowed the car, and her daughter had been drinking. Okay, but it does take a picture of your face when you're blowing.
Oh, it does?
It does.
So like you can't have like...
Yeah, they know that routine where it's like, you see
hey,
it in
Bill,
the movies.
hey, Bill, come over here and blow in here.
Yeah, you see in the movies, like, people with the interlock, like, go blow in so I can start my car. So... She calls me and says, my daughter blew into my car, and, it really wasn't me. I wasn't drinking. Okay. So.
What a shitty daughter, too, knowing that she was drinking.
Whatever. Yeah, she didn't know. She was like young, whatever. So we go to this violation hearing, and I've seen everything with these violations. And
who does the violation hearing? Is it the Secretary of State or is it the judge?
Secretary of State has these administrative judges.
Okay.
And these people are very schooled in recovery and Alcoholics Anonymous and this, that, and the other. That's, we deal with so much of that in my practice. Yeah.
So you go to the judge.
We go to the judge, quickly rules out that we saw the picture, was not her who was blowing it. But he goes to her, because they can monitor, because once you get the violation, what they do is suspend your license, and then you have to wait to kind of reinstate it till you go to this hearing. He goes, have you been driving? And she goes, no.
Oh, no.
And he goes, why are you lying to me? Because he could pull up her record that she's been driving during the period of suspension.
Blowing into the machine.
She starts crying and sobbing, and she finally tells the truth. Yeah, because he can see her blowing into the machine. So we get off. He goes, I'm going to take it under advisement. And I said to her, because like I said, I deal with addiction. I deal with alcoholics all the time. So I know 12 steps, all that stuff. I said, listen, she's had 2 DUIs. She's close to getting her license back. He dismissed the violation with her daughter, but obviously she got caught lying real bad. I said, listen, you got to go back to some meetings. You're going to relapse. And she's like, I know, you're probably right, whatever. She's like, I know I didn't win this hearing. He's not going to give me my license back. I'm like, I don't know about that. You came clean. You didn't fight with him. But I'm like, you need to go back to some meetings because you're gonna go back to drinking. 2 weeks later, I thought she was cooked. I thought she wasn't gonna win, but I didn't want to I wanted to soften the blow.
Positive.
Right. We get an order. She wins the hearing. That means she gets her license back. I'm all excited. I'm calling and blowing up her phone. Like because I had to talk her off the ledge. No pickup.
Oh no.
2 days later, I get a call from the police station. She got picked up for her 3rd DUI, felony drunk drive. Remember, I told her, go back to me and you're going to relapse, because she was lying. She was doing a lot of lying. That's what these addicts do. They lie. And felony DUI.
Oh,
so she went from getting her license back to now a felony DUI. So it's her 3rd. But that's
horrible. That's sad.
It's very sad. I like this area of practice, and especially dealing with recovery, because a lot of times, as you know, even when you get called, a lot of tragedy. Most times when you got to call a lawyer, things are not going good.
Things are not good. Yeah.
So when
I always say, people are not calling me to tell me how great things are going. They're calling me because disaster has struck.
That's right.
Their job, or someone got hurt, or somebody died. It's sad. We deal in tragedy.
Right. So when people come to me with this license restoration stuff, it's usually they have turned their life around. They've gotten clean. They've gotten sober. They're ready to take the next step in their life and get back on track. And when you can say, hey, we take for granted driving. We're like, I get in my car, I have my driver's license. It is a privilege.
Yeah.
And so when something as simple as like, I've literally gotten sober, I've turned my life around. And by the time that happens, these people are like working. They're like, you can't even believe that, they were in that bad of a spot. And I know lawyers have had problems with alcohol, judges, all, you name it.
You name it.
Yeah. It affects everybody. So that I do take a lot of pride in helping people at that point, trying to, once they've paid their debts, they've gotten their lives right, and it's actually a rewarding thing to do.
Now, we don't have a lot of time left, but you founded, and you've been working on this program, or this separate project, for a very long time. Almost, I mean, how many years?
So this is, I started in. So it was originally for landlords. I was building an app for landlords, where it was an automated process where, a lot of people think you have to go to court to like do stuff, to evict the tenant, to whatever. You can literally hire a lawyer and never have to go to court.
Yeah.
And so I was starting that. I was building that, something for landlords, but this working at Flawed, like we would do tickets all the time. We would do tickets.
Yeah, like speeding tickets. Like I call my buddy, we're lawyers, and it's like the speeding ticket is what? Probably like the easiest, most basic thing.
Right. So speeding tickets are like, a lot of people go, especially in Michigan, a lot of people just go on their own, try to work out a deal, try to get no points.
Yeah.
So around the time I was working on this thing for landlords, because I represented a lot of landlords, I was like, you could do this for tickets. And so what we had, I built this company, Eliminate Your Tickets. And you can upload a ticket from your phone, and a lawyer goes to court for you.
Do you have to go meet the lawyer?
Nope.
Do you have to talk to somebody?
No, a lot of people just simply upload the ticket. Listen, there are still people that like to call. They want to know is this a scam or not? But a lot, you upload the ticket and a lawyer goes to court for you. Most times, we can't get you any relief at all. You get a full refund. We don't even keep any of the money. And we try, and you don't have to take off time for work. We go to court, try to get you no points, try to get it dismissed.
Dude, I mean, I think this is a genius idea. I think it's like Uber for tickets,
essentially.
So it's an app on your phone.
Right. And then we're looking at going, obviously we've been in Michigan for a while. It's evolved into, we do all criminal. We go to the highest of criminal cases, but it started with this ticket thing. And then
you just take a picture of your ticket and that's it.
That's it.
And then it uploads it or something, and then
uploads it. You get updates regarding your case all the way through. And basically it's set it and forget it.
That's amazing, man. That's a great idea. I hear you're doing really well.
It's going well.
It's good to have you on the show. We'll maybe have to do like a 15-year New Orleans reunion. Or something.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Good to see you,
Nice to
Steve.
see you.
Thanks for being on the
For
show,
sure.
buddy. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to another great episode of Cases Gone Wild with some crazy and wild stories with my good friend and great attorney, Steve Mamat. Please share the show and give us good reviews. You can go to markolaw.com. If you or someone you know needs help, we'll get you hooked up with Steve, or give us a call at our new number, 313's all 7. Lucky sevens, baby. 313-777-7777. That's 313 all 7s. We'll see you right here in another 2 weeks for another episode of Cases Gone Wild.